I don't know whether this would be counted as horror or scary stories. My father had an experience with supernatural, an eerie accident whose after realization was shocking as well as painful for him. He never spoke about the occurrence, avoided the subject. The story was narrated to me by my paternal grandmother. A little background: this incident took place in the 1970s or early 1980s of Mumbai city. During that period of Mumbai, or then called Bombay, did not have as many huge towers or building structures in comparison to now. People stayed in chawl system like structures where one floor had a huge lobby with 10 to 15 or more houses, approx 100 to 200 square feet in size, with a common toilet system. So the small houses or normal houses had small bathrooms where one could stand and bathe, but for defecation or to urinate, you have to use a common toilet. Vastav movie, that kind of structure. Be with me, this necessary to have a picture. My father was in a police force Mumbai. After one is selected for enforcement, one has to go through months of intense training. My father, then recently recruited, had returned from 2 3 months of training. He had a week long off before joining for his position in the assigned police station. When he comes back, my grandmother is excited to meet her son. It was late in the night, around 12:30ish in the night, when he returned. The first thing he does is use the common toilet. As per my grandmother back then in the 1970s or 80s, people would sleep early as many of them had early morning shifts at textile mills. So not many people would use common toilets late at night. My father's house was on the far end of the floor, and the common toilet was right in the middle of the floor. One had to pass few houses before reaching the toilet. So my father goes. He finishes his business and out. Now, while he's returning, he hears something, a familiar voice calling him. He turns back. It's his best friend. I think the name was Shaya. Don't remember, so but will name use this name throughout. They had been best buddies since they were kids. She was married the previous year and then was pregnant. She was one of the closest friends he had. He would share every small details of his life with her. He was very happy to see her. They chatted for a while. My grandmother didn't know a lot, but they spoke for a half an hour or more. He come he came back home quite late and cheerful. My grandmother thought he met one of the friends, asked mom whom he met. My father cheerfully said he met Chaya and they chatted for a long time. He was happy to meet her after such a long time. Back then, no phone. His friend being married shifted to another place, hardly in contact, so they met after a long time. My grandmother said, my grandmother said she did not respond. Okay, my grandfather did not respond. It was when he was having dinner. He asked my grandmother why she did not inquire more about his meeting with Chaya. My grandmother then informed me that Chaya died. Her husband and in laws burned her alive. while she was pregnant, as her family could not pay the remaining dowry. She died a month ago and was cremated nearby. She had visited their house a few days prior to her death and met grandmother. Chaya said that she missed Ramesh, my father's name, a lot and wished he was there for her. This affected my father. He was bedridden for weeks after that. He could not believe that his best friend was no more. He would tell my grandmother that the last chat he had with her felt so real. What saddened him the most was the kind of a death his best friend had to face, the kind of abuse she must have gone through, and how he could not be there for her. He could not do anything now, as the child's parent did not take any legal actions against the husband in laws. He tried persuading them, of no use. My grandmother shared that after he was well, he met the husband and beat the shit out of him. But that's all he could do. This was back in 80s. The laws weren't stringent as compared to now. People struggled back then.